Hello, everyone. Welcome to Arcana Homesteading. We're your hosts, Sherry
and Shauna.
And today we are talking about
natural remedies for stress and anxiety.
There you go. Shauna already had it all planned out in her head.
I did.
I'm like sitting here nursing my baby, like already forgotten what we were talking about like 5 seconds ago.
We're talking about
and it just left my brain.
Natural
That's it.
remedies for remembering shit. That'd be a good one, huh?
Yeah, I know.
Just ginkgo biloba, I guess.
I know. We couldn't make a whole episode out of it. Like ginkgo biloba.
Ginseng.
Say it really, really slowly. Yeah, and obviously you can go to the doctor and stuff, and you definitely should if you wish it, for things like depression and anxiety and stuff. But there are lots of natural ways to help, whether you want to call it ease those conditions or just help those conditions overall. And just plenty of natural things. You have to remember that
I was trying to find
everything that the pharmacy makes, there is a natural, like, derivative, an underlying natural thing that they took it from, So
I always tell people there's a plant for everything.
There's a plant for everything.
Everything.
People. Fucking everything.
Everything. And there's probably several, actually.
No, and I was going to say
one.
that. There's more than one plant for literally any ailment.
And so if something doesn't, it's very rarely that people fit like the textbook of anything, right? Like no one's going
Never,
to be.
Actually. I don't know. It's weird. It's like, did the doctors really write these textbooks after a person, or was it like some robot? Because I never, it's at least with our family, and I don't know, maybe we're just weird, but we're never a textbook.
Definitely weird.
We're never a textbook. It's like we're always like, they should have these symptoms, but they shouldn't have these symptoms.
Yeah.
And it's just, anyway, so it's good to remember that. That's a very good point. Very, very good point.
Yes, but to further that point, so just because something works for somebody, like this works for them and their stress, it doesn't mean that it's going to work for you.
100%.
So your body and how all that everything that makes up you and how your brain functions, it's different from, it's just like your fingerprint is different from everybody else. And so you have to remember that. So just because like your friend that has anxiety and she's taking, A, B, and C, and now she's doing great, but then you take the same thing and you still feel like shit, it doesn't mean that you're worse off. It doesn't mean that you can't get to that point where you feel great. It just means that you need to try something else.
Yes.
So don't fret. There's a plant for you too.
Yeah, and the wonderful thing about these, some do have adverse effects. I got
that thing in my, what's that?
The wonderful thing about Tigger is I'm the only one.
I was like, what is that? I had that song in my head. What is it from?
What is it? What is it? I'm already dancing.
I was like, yeah. So be you. Be your Tigger.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to put our mirror on.
Oh, dork. I know we're staring right at it. We're like, oh, look at that. It's right there.
I'm going to do it.
Okay, yeah, you should do it. Okay. Yeah, so the wonderful thing about plants, the wonderful thing about Tigger is that you can keep trying however, whichever ones you would like to figure out what fits you and your ailment. And it's not like, I guess some plants, that's not true. Some plants you can overdose on depending on what it is and shit, but it's kind of, not common, I suppose. But so anyways, just try, it's fine. Just try different things and figure out what fits you. And like we said, there's usually several plants for like each ailment. Like when I say several, I mean like
there's so
freaking
many.
like 10 or more.
Yeah.
And so it's really easy. Just go through, figure out what works for me. I'm going to take a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of both.
A little bit of things. So I was trying to find the episode number, but I couldn't find where our podcast is on your phone. But we did one on like natural remedies for pain management.
Oh, yeah.
So we already did an episode on that. So if that's something that you would like to look at, Sherry's going to find the episode eventually. Anyways, but so this one's all about stress and anxiety. And I feel like everybody has stress to a certain extent.
Yes, definitely.
Some more than others, just because that's just how you're built, right? Like you handle stress differently.
And it depends obviously on your experiences in life, traumas, blah, 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 right? Yeah. And so
like everything that has,
made you who you are.
And it's just like there's only certain plants that works for some people, not for others. Like you're just different. And that's like, it's so.
As it should
like
be.
I have more anxiety than Sherry does.
Yeah.
You know, but that's just
for
like
no really apparent reason.
for no reason. It's just like who I am.
Yeah.
And how my brain works. I have a lot of like medical anxiety, you know, like if something's like wrong with me, like I have to like Google the fuck out of it, you know.
Yeah,
that's
she
like,
gets super obsessed.
And
we tell her,
I
not, don't Google it.
I
Don't
hyper
Google
focus
it.
on things too.
And then she does.
Which is weird because I'm very much like a live in the moment type person. And so like I'm such a live in the moment type person that whatever's happening to me at that moment, that's just what I have to hyper focus on. And so I know some people are like, can't live in the moment. So it's like, that's like, you know, like my husband, he has a really hard time living in the moment. So this is like why his anxiety is more about things like, what if this happens, you know, and mine's like completely the opposite. It's kind of funny, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also another just little disclaimer here. If you didn't know, we're not doctors. So you should definitely talk to anything that you want to try. You should talk to your doctor, especially if you're already on medications for stress or anxiety, just because they can have interactions with your medications. So just like if, you know, we're talking about high blood pressure and you're on high blood pressure medication and then you're taking something to also lower your blood pressure, you could potentially lower it to a dangerous, you know, place. So just talk, if you're on anything like stress and anxiety already for anything, or even like insomnia.
If you're on
like
any prescription medication,
yeah, you should
I would suggest talking to your doctor and or just researching the shit out of it.
I would talk to your doctor.
Yeah.
Anywho, so that's we're good on disclaimers. That was just our little spiel, our 6-minute spiel apparently. Anywho, so we have mentioned this first one 1,000 times, but it is worth mentioning 1,000 more. So because it is so easy, and it is ashwagandha. It is a ginseng. It is amazing. I have it in like a powder form. I don't grow it.
Yeah,
I buy
ditto.
it.
Yep, ditto.
So it is an adaptogen, and so it's not like, it just helps you deal with like your body deal with everyday like stressors. So every day there's different stresses that happen throughout the day, like you know, whatever, and it just helps you kind of like your body deal with all of that. And it's like, it is like a tonic, and so you can take it every day, and the more you take it, the better you will feel. Is that a song?
No.
Okay. Anyways, and so like I know when I'm not, like I can tell like when I get off it for a little bit, just because I forget to fucking put it in my tea, because I just put it in my tea every morning, because my brain is like a disco ball. So sometimes I'm just like, I completely forget that I have ashwagandha like sitting in a jar right there, and I just won't put it in for like a couple weeks, and then I will feel more like more sluggish almost, and more like just, I don't know, I can't explain it. So when I'm on the ashwagandha, I do feel like I can just deal with things easier. It is
Yeah,
great.
because it's an adaptogen, and it's
is an
literally
adaptogen.
helping you adapt to whatever stressors come about in your day.
Yeah, and even things that you don't really realize
Are stressors.
that are stressful.
Yep.
Or like I can't, like, I'm trying to think of things, but like my brain's like wee, so I can't. What's an outside stress?
I mean, your dog's escaping.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just
Yeah.
little things throughout the day
Yeah.
that aren't necessarily expected.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your kids having a bad day and they're having meltdown after meltdown. You know, you get a flat tire, like what the fuck ever, right? Your freaking lights are out in your car or whatever. Like there's lots of different.
That to you, or did I never send it to you?
I think you did. Yeah, I took it off airplane mode. Lots of different.
Yeah, lots of different ways that it is helpful. It also like increases your libido if you're down for that.
No thanks. Polite
Sure,
pass.
it's all like 6 kids. I'm good. But it's interesting. It's like when it's just so funny because like how your libido and where it's at like level wise really is
God
like
darn it,
helps
baby. You
with
should just
your
swipe my
energy
phone.
levels. It helps with
bad.
how you just interact with people.
Yes.
So like your libido like crashing like because of whatever, if it's like menopause or just where you're at in your life or whatever,
74.
like it really does. Can I have the thing I sent? The notes? I just want to make sure I hit them all.
Yeah.
It really does like affect you overall. So like it, just that alone, I feel like helps you be more of like a peppy person. At least for me, it does.
Peppy person.
Peppy person. We're only
So the episode we just hit on a second ago, the natural ways to relieve pain. That's episode 74. If you were interested.
did do it.
What the fuck do you think I was doing that entire time?
I don't know.
Just staring at my phone. Bloop, bloop, bloop.
I know.
Just scrolling
Just like,
on Facebook while I podcast.
Episode 74.
Yeah.
So, and this is 94.
Weird.
I believe. Yeah. I think. Maybe not. Maybe 95. But I think it's 94. Anyways, nuance. So, yeah. So that the next one is people also very much know this one is lavender. Lavender, the smell alone is relaxing. So a lot of the times it works really well for children. I don't know if you've ever tried it for kids, like when they're having nightmares or something, just rubbing some lavender oil or putting like a little lavender like sachet like under their pillow. It helps calm them so much. I used to do it for my one of my nephews, not one of Sherry's kids, but on my my sister-in-law's son. He would come over and he would get nightmares just because you know how kids when they're in a different space they don't sleep as well.
Yeah, of course.
You know, and they're
I don't sleep as well in a different space.
Right. And so he would have nightmares about whatever and so I would always use the lavender and he would like pass the fuck out.
Nice.
It was like brilliant. And I even got to the point where I wouldn't even let him go to sleep without just putting it on
I know. It's like
initially.
super sharp. Yeah.
Because I didn't want him to have to go through, like, obviously.
Yeah.
I can avoid it, right?
Right.
So
exactly.
I just, like, did the whole lavender.
You're like, you're not going to sleep unless you smell this, okay?
And he would sit there and, like, even, like, he'd put his wrist next, and he would just calm right down. So, like, even, like, lavender baths and stuff is really big for, like, babies and stuff. But even for me, I love lavender. I love the smell of it. It is calming.
I
it
am
is
not
relaxing.
a fan.
So neither is my husband. He's actually allergic, so.
See, I don't know if I have an allergy to it, but I do not like it. Like everyone's like, oh, smell this lavender. What the fuck ever? Soap or lotion. I'm like, oh God. Like Dea loves lavender. Yeah. I fucking hate it.
Well, exactly. See what we were just talking about.
Yeah. Different people.
Different people. So like it does.
Like I cannot stand the smell.
Even though it works for a lot of people
Not a fan.
and it works for a lot of kids. It's just like you and my husband, which I think you have the same blood type too, which is weird, huh?
No, that's not weird. That makes a lot of sense actually, right?
Yeah. So,
yeah, I don't like it. See, I don't. You're like, I gave him lavender on his wrist to go to bed. Like I sleep with my kids and I would be like, oh my God, open the windows. I cannot even.
You're very weird with smells though.
Yes, I know. I'm like super extra sensitive. I just can't handle them.
To a point. I don't like anything like, I don't like fake smells.
Oh,
you know?
No.
Like perfumes and stuff?
Yeah, get ready for when your daughter's a teenager.
No, we walked in. I took them into Sephora the other day.
Yeah, no.
And
so
like,
gross.
I was like, you guys, I'm so sorry. This is like so
I have to leave.
nauseating.
Like, I can't walk into Bath & Body Works.
It's so gross. Well, like, and Sephora I didn't think would be, I don't know. I'm like, Sephora, it's makeup. But then they have a bunch of perfume at the, like, what are you doing?
Everyone's like spritzing it, like testing.
Oh,
Can
God.
you all stop testing the
I know,
perfume
you
and just
guys
fucking buy one
all
and leave?
smell like a bunch of baby prostitutes.
That's
Can you
right.
Stop.
Dea, oh my God, Dea's perfume. And now Corelli's on the perfume kick.
No.
I can't. And they get in the
Tell
car.
them to like make it themselves. It's so much better for you. That perfume is horrible
I know
for
what.
you.
I am going to tell
You
Dea
should.
that.
Should be like,
she loves that shit.
yeah,
I'm totally going to
tell
tell her
to
that.
make it. It's way better for you. It's not all chemically. You're not like
Because I might be able to
breathing in
stand it if it was
chemicals.
not so chemically.
Exactly. Like taking like roses and anything that you can like put them in oil. You know,
Yeah.
and like mixing it. Way better.
I'm totally going to tell her to do that.
I closed your thing and I forgot. Sorry. So I think the next one on the list is, so we're running through like all of the ones that are pretty common right now, but, is it chamomile?
Yeah.
Yeah. So chamomile, Sherry and I both grow it. Actually it just grows wild on Sherry's property.
Yeah.
Which is great because it comes in like huge just patches where we can harvest plenty for like plenty of for
I mean it's so we have so much that we can't even like I can't keep up with harvesting it all.
Yeah, and
like there's just too much.
She can harvest some, I can harvest some.
Yeah.
I can harvest some for friends. Like,
literally I could friggin' harvest it and fucking sell it if I wanted to. Dad was like, you should sell this. I'm like, yeah, I should, but I'm not going to.
But I'm not going to.
One more thing for me to do.
But we will plan to dry some and send some to our top patrons over on Patreon this year. So
oh yeah,
you guys
that'd be
can
fun.
Look forward to
oh,
that.
I'm calling her. I don't want to call her. I'm sending her a message.
So anyways, but chamomile is definitely relaxing. You can use like the dried flowers if you're not growing it, which is really easy to grow actually. But once you plant it, it's gonna spread everywhere. It just loves to.
Oh yeah.
just make itself known.
Yeah,
It's
it does not
like-
have a problem
It's
either.
not shy. Yeah.
And it doesn't require
Anything.
anything at all, like anything, like nothing. And it, like I said, it just pops up around here like in a massive, just crazy fields. And if we continue to water it, we would have it for a longer period of time.
Yeah, I would water mine in the garden that's in like pots. But even though I planted it in pots, it's still spreading everywhere else. It does not give a shit.
Oh yeah, no, and it's very good at it. It's very good at like
very
spreading.
good at going everywhere. So obviously, if that's going to be a problem for you, and you're like, I don't want chamomile everywhere, which I don't know why you wouldn't though. It's all like pretty and like why wouldn't you want that everywhere? But some people like I guess are more like, no, this is what's growing here. So it's very easy to harvest. You just run your fingers up the stalk and you can just pop the little white flowers off with your fingers, and then or you can take the whole thing, but you really don't need to, and hang it upside down to dry. But just popping the little white flowers off and then letting those dry on I put them on like a screen, like an old screen, or you can put them wherever to dry. And then once they're dried, you have to make sure they're all the way dry. We just dry them naturally. It takes a few days. Then you can just put them in a jar, and then you can put them in your tea.
Yeah.
Whenever you need them, whenever you need like that extra.
If you are making like tea with your dried chamomile that you like harvested yourself, you don't need a lot.
No.
Like you need like a tiniest little amount to make it chamomile tea. If you use too much, it's not good.
Very bitter.
It's very, very bitter.
So yeah, you don't need a lot. So think of like, anything that is fresh, it's usually more potent.
Yeah.
So you can buy obviously chamomile tea, like they have, like it's in most like sleepy time teas and stuff. It does have more of like a sedative effect, so you're not going to want to like take a bunch of chamomile tea then go operate heavy machinery.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. That's
so
a good point.
I usually like if my kids are super like anxious about what's happening the next day, if they have like a show or something, and they get kind of like ramped up and they're like it's hard to sleep or whatever, like chamomile tea is happening that evening, and lavender on their wrist. It's just an extra way to get them to like calm down and like let their brains relax, and so they can get a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
It's funny because like I know like melatonin, you can get like melatonin like gummies and shit for your kids.
Yeah. Legend used to take the chocolates, like they were big, it looks like a big M&M, but it was all like super like natural, very good, and no sugar added, all that bullshit, It works for him, does not work for Curly.
Same with River. So
Yeah.
it has the opposite effect on River.
Yeah.
She will be up all night talking in her sleep. She
Yeah.
will not get a restful night's sleep, like because it's like melatonin's produced naturally, but apparently if she probably just has enough
Right.
that
exactly.
is released, and so it's
exactly.
just too much for her, and so she.
See, that makes sense because Corelli is a sleeper.
So is River.
She is like, don't even worry about
Yeah.
it. I can sleep through most things.
Yeah.
I'm going to pass out, and I need a solid like 8 to 10 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Like, do not wake me up. And so that makes sense that it has the opposite effect on them because they have plenty, apparently, right?
They're
They don't
good.
need help.
They're like, I'm good. Their brains are
yeah.
good.
But yeah, I gave it to her one time, and I will never do that again. Like
I
she
know,
literally couldn't
same.
stop moving, and I was just standing there staring at
Yeah,
her.
and it's almost like
oh
they're
my
like
God.
twitching all night. It's like their bodies just want to like get up and
It's
run.
like they're tweaking out on crack.
I
You're
know.
like, what is wrong
I was all
with
like,
you?
okay, this is never happening again.
I
This
know.
is awful. And she was
So
talking a
awful.
bunch.
Oh my God.
And she was
Stop.
like
I
sitting
know.
up and like
I know.
fighting with people like in her sleep. And then like, I'd like try to like push her back down, like stop, like lay down, like go to sleep. But she just couldn't, her body couldn't get to that like REM sleep
Yeah.
because of like, it was like, I don't,
See, it works really well on Dea.
it works well on Ronan.
Melatonin just totally makes her pass out. Like I can give her one, I'm like, and good night, and she's asleep in probably the next like 10 minutes. Like it works very quickly and it's very
Same with
effective.
Ronan.
She stays asleep. She won't have nightmares.
Yeah.
Like
see,
if she's
so-
super anxious
Yeah.
because like she's
See,
that
Ronan will
person.
ask for it sometimes because he'll be like, can I have a melatonin? And I'm like, and I know it's fine and stuff, but I would just rather him do like chamomile tea and other things just because it's just like any time you're like,
No,
overly-
I don't. I can't even remember the last time I gave it to Dea. I like honestly, the only time that I remember giving it to the kids is when like they have to go to sleep because like we
Yes.
have to be up early the next
We're
day
like
for
getting
something.
up at like 4 a.m.
but see
and
that
you
like
know they're not
that
going
never
to,
that doesn't happen.
no, especially
And now with Dea being such a like an I don't know older teenager, like she's gonna be 15. It's like she's very
like self.
yeah. She's like she's good. She
Yeah.
does her own thing.
Like I said, I only do like the chamomile tea and stuff when I know that they are anxious about whatever's happening the next day, and I still want them to get a good night's sleep.
Right, exactly.
I
But
still
it's
want them
nothing just FYI, melatonin is nothing to rely on like a permanent basis. Like if you're having like sleep issues, you can definitely take it and like to help you basically get into like a habitual form of like, okay, I'm going to bed at this time and I'm staying asleep through this amount of time and then I'm getting up at this time or whatever. But you cannot rely on it, and it will tell you that anytime you buy it like through a store or something, it says that on the back of the bottle, like do not rely on.
So something else that helps with sleep, now that we're just on that, is vervain. It also helps with anxiety, actually.
You skip St. John's wort.
Okay, we'll go back to it.
Yeah.
But vervain is...
So you say vervain, and the only thing I think of is Vampire Diaries.
Yeah.
Like, it's so funny. I'm always like, Vampire Diaries.
Yeah. So vervain, it helps you sleep. Apparently, it keeps away vampires, so, it's a double win right there.
You're good. You're safe from at least vampires.
So it can, like, interact with certain medications. So just like St. John's wort, you need to kind of be careful, and it can be addictive. So how Sherry was saying, like with the melatonin, you don't want to like rely on it. Like you could definitely take it to get you to your brain to basically, being like, I need to sleep for maybe like a couple weeks, but then I would take a break and try something else. And then, if you need to go back to it, you can. So,
yes.
So being more careful with that, but I give it to my husband, who has an extremely addictive personality, and he's fine. So like he's not like, I need my vervain tea like every night. Like he doesn't like ask for it. I would give it to him for like a week, and then, I'd switch him to some St. John's wort or whatever. He doesn't have a problem falling asleep. He has a problem staying asleep.
Okay.
And so he was talking to his doctor about it, and his doctor's like, well, like, do you snore? And he's like, no, I don't snore. And so he's telling me this exchange him and his doctor had, and I was like, what are you talking? Yes, you do. You absolutely snore. Like, what are you talking about? And he's like, what do you've never told me that. I was like, well, I didn't want to be like rude. Like,
hey, honey. Hey, snore. You snore. Just a fly. I just thought I'd just throw that out there.
I was like, I don't know. I don't want to be all, hey, like, did you know you're snoring every night? Like, I don't know. I just thought it was like rude. And
it
he
never
was
came
like,
up a conversation.
And he was like, I'm sitting over
it
there like dying because I can't breathe. And I was like, well, don't be so dramatic. Like, Jesus.
You're snoring. You're not dying.
And so, but since he's got like a CPAP machine, and it has helped him sleep, like just like because it helps him to breathe at night. Interesting how oxygen is necessary when you're sleeping. So it is helping him to sleep. He still like will open his goddamn mouth, and like the air just like shoots out of his mouth, so it's like sounds like a wind tunnel sometimes, and just like worse than snoring. I'll like look over at him and I'll be like, are you fucking kidding me right now? And he's just sitting over there. It's like with this huge thing on his head, and he's like, I'm just like, I'm like, it's fine. I love you. It's fine. And I am a really light sleeper.
Do you wake him up and tell him to stop and close
his
his mouth?
I like try to just close his mouth, And he's like, well, then I need to get something so my mouth stays shut. And I was like, just close your goddamn mouth. And he's like, well, that's the problem to begin with. I was like, well, you're saying you're sleeping so much better. Your mouth is still open. Like, where's all that air going? Like, what's happening?
Oh, God.
Anyways. So,
no freaking way. I probably could just kill him. I cannot. I cannot be woken up by something besides my children. Like, if it's my kids, they're good.
I'm woken up by...
They're good.
I'm not woken... Oh, but... I can't speak. My kids don't wake me up. Rarely.
Yeah, you have all these other stupid things because you allow it and you're weird. I mean, my Gus can't really handle it.
My old dog.
Your stupid cats because you let them sleep with you. I don't know
But
why you
that's
let your
about
cat sleep with you.
Because they love
Don't
to cuddle
let
times.
them sleep with you. Who cares? They're
care.
going to wake you up.
No. And
No,
like, Shadow Walker will like sleep in my arm, and he loves it. Like,
well, apparently he doesn't sleep.
Well, before he goes to sleep, he has to get comfies, but
no. My cats will sleep with me. Fuck off. And the dogs know to stay still. Don't move. Your ass is going outside.
Well, that's because you're mean.
And my kids, yes, fine. Wake me up. Yes, nightmares, potty. Yes, good. And baby has to nurse all night, of course. But like, if my husband was a wind tunnel next to me, I mean, I would.
Well, it was weird because when
I don't know, but I would do. I honestly, like, it'd be bad.
Well, when he first got it, and I guess you can like turn down like, I guess the amount of air. I don't even know how it works. But like when he first got it, and there was like this noise, but it wasn't just like air. It was just like a honking weird noise. Like I was like, did we get a penguin? What's happening? When you wake up and your brain's trying to figure out what's happening. You're like, what's in my room right now?
do I have a penguin? I mean, that'd be really cool,
That'd
but
be cool. But why is it making
I'm
so
tired.
much noise? And I was trying to figure out what's
my
happening.
God, that is so
and the kids
funny.
wake up and we're like, "What's that noise?" And I'm still like, I don't fucking know. Like it has to be some kind of animal. And then I realized I was like, "Oh, it's your dad's thing." I was like, "Just slap him or something."
Just slap him or something, or smother him with a pillow. Either way,
So it's fun. But
that is fucking hysterical.
But since then, it's not. It's now just sounds like wind, like. And the kids will wake up, and be like, "Oh, it's storming outside." I'm like, "Nope, that's your dad."
Nope, that's your dad. It's a weird machine.
It's fine. Anywho, so
Nope, that's your dad.
so St. John's
So funny.
wort.
Yes. So that's another one that you need to be sure. It can have some adverse effects if taken with certain medication. So you definitely need to make sure that you're not taking medication that'll have adverse effects with. And interestingly, we just found this out. You cannot take it if you're bipolar, which is so weird.
So weird. So it actually increases like the mania, like the manic.
So if you do have bipolar disorder, 100% stay away from St. John's wort.
St. John's wort. If somebody recommended that to you and you've been taking it and you feel like I haven't been worse, like just stop taking it.
That's why.
So that's why. So it grows like
Very, very
everywhere, like just wild around here. Like I can harvest, like I forage it. But it doesn't grow on my property, so I am planting it this year just so it does. So I don't have to necessarily, because it's very easily grows wherever the fuck it wants to. It's like drought tolerant.
Yeah, it's like, indigenous to our area, so it just
super cool.
We have some on our property.
Mm-hmm. I've harvested before here, and I'll just dry it and I use it in like teas again for whoever needs it. So like if people are feeling like extra anxious or stressed out, I think that one is like a little bit more stronger, in my opinion, than like the vervain or other things, or like the chamomile.
Yeah, it's definitely stronger than things like chamomile, lavender. Like
It
I feel
works.
like just like a prescription med, right? Like your doctor would give you, they like have those like based on like they're like A, B, C, whatever the fuck. Like they go up in tiers. And so it's the same thing with natural shit. Like some are like your chamomile, lavender. Yeah, they're good for anxiety. But then like if you really want to kick in the butt, it's like, take some St. John's wort.
But make sure you don't have bipolar disorder. I'm glad we found that out before we mentioned it. But yeah.
Well, and it's also good for, remember, the seasonal affective disorder.
Yeah. So if anybody has that, it's sad. Sad.
Which is very, very funny.
Sad.
And so like our dad totally has that.
It, yeah.
In the winter, he gets very ho-hum, very,
like,
he's affected by the lack of sun, essentially. And the lack of
never
probably being
live in
outdoors. And the lack of just fresh air, you know what I mean? Because
it's mostly like the vitamin D. Like
he
just
sun.
Needs the sun.
Exactly, you just need the sun. I feel like I'm not like, I don't feel like I'm affected. I don't have sad, but I 100% like, I don't know.
I think Shanley does though.
Yeah, I think
Our
Shanley
younger
does too.
sister, I think she's affected. She was home today and I was like,
but I
go
don't think
outside.
she realizes
and she
it.
doesn't. I was like, you got to get outside in the sun. Like go out there. You need it. Just some people just.
I mean, I tell my kids
get,
that
like,
though.
the artificial like lights, but I still don't think it like works as well.
No, of course it doesn't. Nothing's gonna work as well as the sun.
As the sun, yeah.
I tell my kids, because in the winter, you're inside, it's storming, it's raining. We've had a really, really like a winter here. Like it's been fucking raining. It's been super cold. The wind chill is crazy. We had like 70-mile-per-hour winds at one point. Like it's fucking batshit crazy. What is happening?
Sure I live in California. What the fuck is happening?
And so we've been really much like for a streak there. It was like indoors, And so I tell my kids, the second you see that sun and it's going to be sunny, I'm like, we are outside today. Everyone get the fuck out. Get jackets on. Get your boots on. Go outside.
Like go outside. Go play. Like go like.
Because the vitamin D from the sun really does matter. It makes a huge difference. Like you're going to be more ill, just everything.
Yes.
Without it. So
it does. It's very, very important. Obviously, like too much, it's not good for you. But for the most part, it is very much necessary.
Yeah.
So that's a good point. So it does help a lot with if you do have the seasonal affective disorder. I would recommend trying it and seeing if it helps you.
I love that the acronym for seasonal affective disorder is SAD.
It's sad.
It's my favorite thing.
Sad pandas.
SAD.
What's the next one on our list?
So on more other things that we talked about the sun, but obviously like meditation, yoga, exercise, stretching, that's all fantastic for things like depression and anxiety, just because so exercise lets off endorphins, natural endorphins in your brain. Those are the happy chemicals, and Yes. Yeah, lion's mane reishi.
All right.
Yarrow.
Okay, you can keep talking.
So, yeah. So, yes. Yeah. Hold on one second. And so the doing exercising and even doing things like, I know when sometimes when people hear the word exercise, they just think of like running and doing all this difficult stuff, but it doesn't even have to be like that. Like it could be simple as just stretching and yoga, meditation. Those are all absolutely wonderful things. And especially if you have any
Yoga's
form,
fucking hard, man.
it is hard.
Yeah, like I don't know if anybody like
You should
does
definitely
yoga.
stretch before yoga.
Like fuck.
Yeah.
I have to do like kids yoga. I can't do like regular.
You're like, I can't handle the adult stuff.
I
It's
can't
not
do
even
like adult yoga,
no.
and even the kids yoga. I'm just like, Jesus.
Yeah.
Like it's hard. It's hard. Like they're on the ground and they get up, and then they're on the ground, they get up. You're just like, stop. Like I am tired. Okay.
I'm on the ground. I shall stay here for a little while.
Stay
Okay.
here. We're gonna do some stretching down here. Okay. Do
Stop.
all the things. I know it's supposed to be all like good for your heart. Stop. Just stop. Okay. I need a break. Like, it's crazy.
And so it's not only lets off endorphins, but it genuinely makes you feel better, right? Like
about yourself.
just about yourself.
You're
and
like, you feel accomplished.
you feel accomplished. It's empowering. And I mean, you could go on and on for days what it does for your body. And so doing things like that. And I know, like if you are like in any kind of like depression, it can be hard to just, move that initial movement. But I feel like if you just start very small and then work your way up and then just make it a habit to do every single day and tell yourself, you just can't miss it. You got to keep doing it every day. And yeah, I feel like it's super helpful.
So our dad does this thing, and I think and he always tells, because I'm like, I need to get back into working out. And he does this thing. He's like, I trick my brain to where I tell myself, like, tomorrow I'm just going to get up and put on my, like my tennis shoes, my workout shoes. And that's all I'm going to do. So you're not telling your brain you're going to work out. Because when you tell your brain you're going to work out, your brain's like, no, we're going to be lazy.
Your brain's like, oh, no, we've been through this.
Yeah.
It hurts.
So we don't like it.
Yeah.
And so you're just like, I'm just going to put my tennis shoes on. And then once you get your tennis shoes on, you're like, well, I have my shoes on, and you just be like, just going to do some stretches,
And that's
then
it.
like you
That's
can
it.
kind of like, if you want to do something else beyond that, then you can, so you can give yourself a little bit of a break if you are just getting back into it, kind of like trick yourself into like,
That's really cute. Just going to put my shoes on.
just
That's
putting
it.
my shoes on. That's it. And then once you get your shoes on, you feel like, all right, well, I have my shoes on.
Yeah. I mean, I might as well.
I might as well
Yeah.
do some stretching.
I
And
love
you're
it.
like, I did some stretching. I did this, because I was like, I'm getting back into working out, I was in that one of those moods, it's gone now, but I was into that mood.
Yeah.
And I like was going to do like the calisthenics. I'm following like a video, on my phone. And the gal's like doing shit and I'm like following her and I was like, okay, like I can do this. I was like, I'm feeling pretty good. Like I'm not that out of shape. Like I got this, And then she says, okay, and that was our warm up. And I was like, bitch.
I mean, like, are you punking me right now?
I was like,
what is happening?
Why? I was like, why didn't you tell me that in the beginning, first of all, that this is going to be a warm up? Like I'm tired now. I was like, are you kidding me?
Oh my
And that was
God,
our warm up. And then the kids were like laughing hysterically because I was like, that was a fucking warm up. I was like, now I have to, I was like, I thought I've been working out this whole time. Apparently I'm just warming up my body. Like, what the fuck is happening?
Oh my God.
I thought it
love
was all
so
amazing.
much.
I thought it was going to be like Rocky, like I could hear the music in the background. Then all of a sudden she's all like, no, you've been only warming up for the past like 15 minutes.
This is so funny.
And then I had to like fucking do, and then it obviously got harder.
You're like, no, I refuse.
And then I was just like, oh my God. The kids were like, again, it was all like, get down on the ground and then stand back up. And I was like, why does everybody want me to get up and down so much? It hurts. I'm old.
That is so funny.
But I did it. I did it all the way through that video, Sherry. And yet you have to like, the wall sits.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, they're hard.
They're so hard. Yeah. And the kids were like laughing hysterically because they're like, we used to have to do these for like 9 minutes. And I was like she would get, it was only like 30 seconds like of a wall sit, or then it would like work up to a minute or whatever. And I'd like No, like I'm 30 seconds every time. I'm doing 30 seconds.
That's it. No more. No more.
That's all
You
you're
can't
getting
get
from me.
any more.
That's all you're getting from me.
I know the kids. We can do it. Nah, shut the fuck up. I used to do it too when I was your age.
I
Little
know.
itty bitty
You don't
friggin'
weigh
grasshopper.
anything.
Like, get out of here.
Young grasshopper.
Well, they're just so tiny and they're just so filled with energy. Yes, yes, yes. Good, good, good. I was at 1.2.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you are 40, you get back to me.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like that meme. It's like all these stupid people, like how's it go? Like all these 20-year-olds being like, I'm a fitness whatever. Be like, yeah, get back to me when you're in your 30s or 40s. Be like, I was skinny as fuck too in the back then. Blah blah blah. ate ramen.
I know. In your 20s, like shut up. You're in your 20s.
Like you're working. Yes, good job. You don't even have to work out.
I know.
Like, you're
You
in your
don't.
20s.
You don't. You can just be all like, I do yoga, and it's just like you just put on a sports bra and look great. Like,
Literally.
fantastic. Anywho, we're gonna stop being bitter, but
No, I'm not being bitter. It's realistic. And I can't wait for all of those people to like that are doing that right now and think that they're like, this is how they're going to be for the rest of their lives. You know what I mean?
I mean,
you think like that.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do. You're in your 20s and you're
in
like,
my 20s, I worked out every day, and I thought,
well,
you
look at those, and you look at 40-year-olds, you're like, "Oh, let yourself go.
yeah,
So
just
sad.
like just work out.
I mean,
My
just do better.
God.
Just do a better
Just do
job.
it.
Okay,
It's
it's
not that
not hard.
hard.
I mean,
Like,
if I
I
can
d-
do
yeah.
it, then you can do it.
Yeah, like, okay, and you're gonna go back and take a nap after this. Like, I have to actually go and be productive in
Be
society.
a mom.
Yeah,
Exactly.
to do other shit.
That's right.
Yeah, that's exactly what I used to do. I used to get up with my dad. I used to go work out at like 5 in the morning, and I would think I was all amazing because we would work out for like 2 hours. I was in great shape, but then I'd like go home. I would eat some SpaghettiOs. I'd fall asleep until I had to go to work at like 4.
Ew,
And then I would
fucking
stay up
hate
until like
SpaghettiOs.
2 in the morning, like drinking. And then I would like get back up and like do it again.
Okay, so you know what's impressive about that entire story?
What?
Dad did it with you.
Well, he didn't do the drinking and the SpaghettiO
I
part,
hope
but-
not. I'm
Or
talking
the
about
nap
the
part.
working.
Dad would actually have to go
That's
to
what
work
I'm saying.
afterwards.
You're like, hey, Dad, oh my God, working out. I'm amazing. And he's like, hey, I'm amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
what age was he? He was probably in his 40s.
Because I was in my 20s.
Yeah, so he was in his 40s.
Yeah.
And he's like
Yeah,
fucking
he was-
getting up
yeah,
at
he
5
was older
a.m.,
than I am now.
working out, going to work, and you're like, goodbye.
Yeah.
Taking a nap.
Taking
eating
a
some
nap until
SpaghettiOs.
I have to go to work because I have to work 3 hours tonight. Okay.
So hard. And he's like, I'm going to go work a 12-hour. Yeah,
Yeah,
be
12-hour
back
day,
later. Be back
and then
see you
I'll
for
see you
dinner.
tomorrow morning. Yeah, so funny. Yeah, he was older than me.
Like, way to go, Dad. Look
Impressive,
at him.
huh? Impressive. Yeah.
So see, we should tell Dad that. We'd be like, you were in better shape when you were my age or older than me than I am now.
he knows.
He's like, oh, honey, don't gotta tell me. I know.
he's just trying to get us to put on our shoes in the morning. Like,
He's like, I tricked my brain. I'm telling you, it works. So
oh,
fucking
God.
funny.
So, but yeah, Sherry's totally right. So exercise, obviously, all jokes aside, is great for you. It does help boost everything, all your levels.
Well,
just
and
moving
like,
more. And not
just
even,
move
like,
more. Don't even feel like you have to. Because I know when like, okay, I have to start exercising. I've got to look up a video or follow
You don't
along.
have to. Go outside, walk around.
Just go walk around. Go walk up and down some hills. You know, you don't have to be like fucking, I don't know.
Rocky?
Yeah, thank you. I was just gonna say that. I don't know why it's stuck in my head, probably because you said it earlier. You don't got to be Rocky. I don't
you
think I would
want
want
to,
to be
you
him.
should.
But you don't have to be him. And
Like,
who is him, anyways? Nobody. I mean, no
and
one's.
exercise can be anything. It can be gardening because
Yes,
you're like, you know, it
yes.
can be just like simple walking, like walking your dogs.
Yep.
I can't think of any other examples. I'm sorry. But it can be a lot of things. It doesn't have to be videos and weights and
No.
like it can just be
No. Yeah.
like whatever you want it to be. Just
Exactly.
moving your
It can
body
be whatever
more,
you want it to be.
getting outside will 100% improve your mood. So try it
Yes.
if you haven't already. A couple more before we end here is I want to talk about is lion's mane mushrooms. First off, they're delicious. If you haven't tried them, they almost taste like lobster or crab, like the texture.
I'm hungry now.
I know. And so you can like cook them like that if you're like vegetarian or vegan and want something like similar to that kind of texture. But they are really, really good for anxiety and for stress. They also was that lion's mane or reishi? No, I can't remember.
What?
One of the mushrooms, it's either lion's mane or reishi, help like reduce like dementia symptoms because it actually like improves your brain function. I want to say it's lion's mane. Do you know? Help me out.
I don't know.
Help me out.
There's something else that something you said about reishi though earlier.
I did.
Maybe that'll, but it wasn't that. I remember I was like, oh, so all women should take it. Remember that?
Oh, thank you. So it was lion's mane that helps with.
See, I knew. I knew it. I knew. I was like, I'm gonna give her a little tidbit. It's not related, but it is.
So
Figured it out.
lion's mane, even if you're not like foraging lion's mane and bringing it home, like you can get it in like a powder form. You can put it in smoothies. It doesn't have to be as difficult as like, I know Sherry and I, we are like, you can grow your own chamomile where you don't have to make it all difficult. If you want to just buy fucking chamomile, you want to buy your lion's mane, like we should, I'd buy ashwagandha powder.
However you want to do all this,
just to make sure you're getting it from like a reputable source.
Yes.
Make sure it is like 100% of that mushroom, right?
Yes.
And it's like a good like organic source of it. Don't just get like a crappy version because then it's not going to do anything for you.
Yeah, and the reputable sources, there are going to be a bit more money, but obviously it's worth it because you know that it's just that, and there's no other fillers in there because a lot of those will have other fillers that you're not even aware of until you get the packaging. You're like, what the fuck? Why is there this and this? Why did the ingredients say that? Exactly.
It should only say
just that fucking mushroom.
So, So it does help with like your brain function. It helps like improve your overall mood. It is just, there's so many mushrooms that are so good for you that people just don't even realize. So there's, like I said, you can get it in like a powder form. You can just put like a little bit in your tea or like a smoothie or anything. When you're cooking, add it to that. Some people are allergic to mushrooms. So if you have an allergy, then you probably need to stay away from that too. The other one is reishi mushroom, and I think it's getting more popular now, but reishi mushroom is good for so many things. Like if you're so many things, like beyond anxiety and stress and insomnia, like it's good for like colds and flus. It boosts your immune system. It's good for if you're going through any kind of cancer therapies. It's good for like, reducing your cancer risk if you are like high risk for cancer. It's good for so many things. Reishi mushroom is definitely one to add to your list. Again, it's a mushroom, so if you're allergic to mushrooms, you probably can't take it. But it also helps, what Sherry was saying earlier. So the adrenals, it helps like improve your adrenal function. So for women, like our adrenals get drained very easily. That's why like we get tired, right? And if you drink caffeine at all, so coffee or tea that's caffeinated, your adrenals get drained faster. And so that's kind of why you might feel like, oh, I just had my coffee, but then you feel like more like blah, like afterwards. And it's because of just those adrenals. And women need more sleep basically than men, like 10 hours of sleep compared to 8 hours of sleep for men, because their adrenals, that's how they basically, what's the word I'm looking for? Like
a refill,
or that's not the word I was looking for, but.
No, I know. But
anyways,
for lack of a better word, you can only refill these adrenal glands when you sleep, and nothing else can refill those. So in a man though, if their adrenal glands go low and they have not enough sleep, their testosterone just can refill those for them, and so that is why women, scientifically proven, need more sleep than men.
Yeah, so the men can pull from their testosterone, which women, that they only pull from their adrenals. And so that's why the reishi mushroom basically helps you restore your adrenals faster. And it also just helps you feel like more like, I don't know, like pep in your step, for lack of a better word, So just like kind of similar to like the ashwagandha, like just taking it every day. I would highly recommend it if you aren't allergic to it. So I can't take too much. I don't think I'm allergic to mushrooms. I just have like a slight, I don't want to even say allergy. It's like, I don't know. If I take too much mushrooms, I get like indigestion and like, if I eat too many. So
that's the same for me, actually.
Slight intolerance.
Yeah, I have a slight intolerance as well, but I don't feel, I feel like it's only when I consume them.
No, mine's even the powders.
See, mine's not in the powders. It's only when I like actually eat them.
And I really like mushrooms just because I know that a lot of them have so many health benefits. And so I've been trying just to have like more and get my body just used to them. So, but we'll see. But yeah, I would definitely recommend adding that in if you have like stress and anxiety. Both of those mushrooms will help a ton. You can just add that in just with the ashwagandha every day.
Yeah.
But yeah, so hopefully we gave you guys a little bit of insight, and hopefully you can start feeling better every day. I feel like a lot of people lately have felt like very like out of
out of sorts, kind
just
of.
out of sorts and less energy, and everybody's kind of like feeling it. And I don't know why so many people, but it's definitely like everybody's kind of connected in that sense, because everybody's been more sluggish than they normally are. And so I feel like at least for me, I feel like I'm slightly coming out of it. I feel like
I'm gonna really help myself come out of it though. Like I got to get back on like the ashwagandha, the 7 sacred mushroom powder. Like I haven't been doing. I've been feeling like I've been in such a fog since the baby's been born.
Yeah,
you know, after you have a baby and you're like,
I mean, I haven't had one in a long time, but I do.
But you remember, and it's like
it's hard.
You have this infant, and then obviously all the other children, and then like just getting like the bare minimum done every day
is exhausting.
But
you have to remember,
you're just
too,
like you're exhausted. And then on top of that, I want to sit and stare at my baby and talk to her and bond with her, and I want to do stuff with the other kids. You know what I mean? And so it's like you
have to remember too, breastfeeding. So when you're pregnant,
my back hurts.
And anything like you eat and any kind of energy, some of it goes to baby, but some of it goes back to you. When you're breastfeeding, it all goes to baby.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
So, like, all of what you're getting, so it's just, like, you need so much more. So, like...
you need more calories breastfeeding than you do when you're pregnant.
So, that's what I'm saying.
Just
so, maybe
crazy.
it's just that. Like, maybe you need to, like, start, like, being like, okay, I definitely need to start eating more, you know? It's a good reason to eat more, huh?
I know. I do need to eat more. I've been so... And, again, I've been so bad at that.
Which is hard because
it's just so hard. It's so hard.
To be
and
all,
not
like,
only to eat, but to actually eat, like, healthy, fulfilling meals.
Because you're like,
and not
I just want something quick because I have to go do these 30 things
100%.
And then nurse my baby to sleep.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I get it, Sherry.
100%. You know, I have either the Legend's holding her or one of the kids is holding her. I'm quickly trying to make food for everybody. And then like, oh shit, I need to eat. So I just throw something together very, very quickly. And it's very rarely like what I would consider good sustenance. It's like quick and it's easy and it just like
filling. So it's usually like carbohydrates. That's not bad for you. That's energy, but
no, for sure. But I feel like I just need,
you need more vegetables.
Thank God for Mom. Like I come home last night and Mom made this sauerkraut sausage, veggie sausage dish with potatoes. If it's in there, I'm going to go eat it all, by the way, if it's left over. It's so good. And I said something to her last night. I was like, thank God you make a really hearty dinner every night because I just eat like crap all day. You know what I mean?
Now she's going to be even more on it. You know, Mom.
No, she totally. She was,
Mom.
She was like, what?
Our mom is like a mom,
eating?
You know?
And I was like, no, I'm eating, Mom.
No,
it's hard.
To her, you are not eating anymore.
I was like, it's hard to put together. I couldn't make this. Yeah. How long does it take you? I fucking could never. What? What are you talking about? I barely have a minute to do anything.
Yeah.
Like, I definitely could not put together a meal like this. Like, never happening. Never happening. And she was like, oh my gosh. Okay, I will. Every night there's going. And I was like, thank you, Mom. I love you too.
You know, she loves to mom. Okay.
She does love to mom.
And she's good at it.
She is good at it.
Anywho, that is where we're going to end things today. We want to do a quick shout out to Lexi C and Tegan. They are we do everybody, huh? That's top patrons on our kind of homesteading. I always forget. Yeah. Lexi C and Tegan there are at they're like our top tier patrons over on Patreon for Porch Talk. And then Megan and Maddie and our mom are the next tier down. So thank you so much to everybody. Yeah, to everybody. That's amazing.
Absolutely
all
amazing.
Of our patrons.
Yes.
Even the ones we don't shout out. It's not because we don't. Well, she's not supposed to get a shout out.
She gets a shout out.
You get one shout out, Amy, okay? But so you get shout outs based on your tier level, but all of our patrons, we very much appreciate you guys. All of our listeners, we very much appreciate you. If you haven't checked out Patreon, please do so. You can find our link tree on Instagram, or we put it everywhere now.
Yeah, it's always in our Instagram stories if you are following us on Instagram. And I will put that in the show notes. I always say that, and then I never do. So hopefully this time I will.
When she has a minute.
Again, baby fog. I'm very sorry.
No, it's fine. Anywho, thank you guys all so much for listening.
Thank you so much.
And we will talk to you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.